Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Android App Arena is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is Android App Arena, episode 89 for Wednesday, March 16th, 2016. Display Color Adaptation. This episode of Android App Arena is brought to you by Headspace. Train your mind for a healthier, less stressed life. Download the free Headspace app and begin their Take 10 program for 10 days of guided meditation at headspace.com/arena. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Android App Arena. I'm your host, Jason Howell. How are your eyes? Did you know that the screens in your life could be showing a bit more respect to your eyeballs? Here's the thought behind the apps I'm featuring today. Basically, our eyes adjust to sunlight throughout the day. As such, they adjust to a particular color temperature. We're bathed in that kind of blue light throughout the day, and our phones, by default, tend to match that daytime color temperature. As the sun sets at night, our device displays stay at the same daytime color temperature. Meanwhile, the lights in our houses, wherever we happen to be at night, tend to have a warmer hue. The blues of the daylight tend to be lessened in the nighttime, but if our phone stays with the daylight color temperature, it's said that this can actually directly affect things like your quality of sleep or even your ability to fall asleep when you need to. Not to mention, some people complain that the conflicting light temperatures can feel hard to the eyes. Do a Google search for circadian rhythm to learn a bit more about the research behind this stuff. As for today's apps, they actually give you the tools to automate the process of shifting the color temperature of your display to, in many cases, match the color temperature to the time of day. So that's the basic idea here. I hope you were able to follow along. So then let's take a look at 3 great apps that give you a ton of control over the color temperature of your device in this week's roundup. Here's the screen dimming app that I've been using for quite a while on my own device. It's called Twilight. And I guess a big reason I've stuck with it is that the developers really have paid attention to the design of the app, while the feature set is just as cohesive. Here are the app's settings to get us all started. At any time, you can tap that preview button up there to see the shift in real time from unfiltered to filtered based on the settings up top. Down below is your schedule, the filter times, and I tend to set the custom settings to kick in around 11:30 p.m. at night and phase off around 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, if you wanted a more automated approach based on, let's say, your location and the times for your sunrise or sunset, wherever you happen to be, just find your location down below and then take a look at the sun settings to see what those times are. That's changed dynamically. You can also tie the app into supported alarm clock apps so it turns off when an alarm goes off on your phone. Very neat. Now, in practice, Twilight is hiding in your notification tray right here. You can tap it and make a quick change easily inside the floating control panel. I find Twilight to be simple enough that I can forget about it, but when I need to interact with it, the design makes me happy. Twilight is free with a pro upgrade for $1.99 in the Play Store. Here's a screen brightness app that focuses a bit less on the blue hue, red hue part of the equation, but still does a good job shifting between different screen configurations based on the amount of light that's detected by your device. It's called Lux. And the developer realizes that users can get lost in apps like this, so he included a nice little settings wizard here that really helps get the app in working order quickly and easily. Lux is all about backlight adjustment, and as such, you can use it to detect the amount of ambient light automatically from every time you happen to turn on your display to anytime there's just a detected change, period, and all the points in between. Now, Lux can get incredibly detailed if you choose to set your own ambient light samples. Essentially, you can use the profile editor here to select backlight settings based on a few different types of ambient light detections. You just tap to refresh, and your current value for your lighting scenario is actually shown there. You can then assign different values to different scenarios, like what you want it set to during the day or at night, or in the car, or at the movies, for example. The flexibility could be key to some use cases. And yes, Lux includes a night mode for switching the color temperature based on the time of day or the location of the sun. That's why it's featured in this roundup. Lux features much more than just color temperature adjustments and even has root functionality for a limited number of devices. No doubt, Lux brings a level of customization that lets you determine exactly how it works and what it reacts to, but don't abuse that functionality or your device may suffer in the long run. Find Lux for free with a full version for $3.80 in the Play Store. Now, if you happen to have a rooted device, you have a bit more power at your disposal. Chainfire, the developers that brought the rooted world Super SU for Android, created an app called CF.lumen. And though it works for unrooted devices, it actually packs more of a punch for the rooted user. You'll have to forgive the app for a lack of fresh design, but aside from that, if you're unrooted, CF.lumen does apply its screen dimming and hue shifting with a simple overlay over the top, the way the other apps in today's roundup do. It does the trick, and within, you have access to a host of settings, specifically how you want the filters to kick in based on your own settings around daytime, sundown, and sleep time. You might have daytime set, let's say, to its normal setting, sundown set to a warmer hue, and sleep time set to a sharp red, keeping the light information super low. But CF.lumen's root functionality actually brings a big boost in quality of image. Instead of an alpha blended color overlay in non-rooted apps, CF.lumen's root approach does things differently, resulting in a much sharper, higher contrast end result. The on-screen image is actually converted to grayscale first, and then the color filter is applied. This results in fine detail not getting tossed out in the process, and things look way better all around. But there's that pesky root requirement, so use what you can. Either way, you'll be happy with CF.lumen for free and with a $2.99 upgrade inside the app. Now, here's a little tip to keep in mind when running apps like these on Marshmallow devices. Android actually implemented a security feature that limits some actions when a screen overlay is active. The security measure actually protects from a rogue app, say, placing an invisible overlay on top of a button you think you're pressing, which could then route that action to something entirely different without you knowing. Well, this directly affects apps like Twilight and Lux because the screen tinting that they do is achieved by a screen overlay. So if you encounter strangeness, all you need to do is pause the app, do the action that was prevented prior to pausing the app, and then unpause it again. I've noticed this when I'm trying to install, say, a side-loaded APK. I tap the install button and it doesn't accept it. That's a security feature, so don't blame the app developers for that. Anyway, this might be another way that the root level versions are just a bit more desirable with their lack of an overlay. Hey, let's thank the sponsor Headspace right now while we have a second. Let's be honest, your mind is capable of weighing you down with fear, anger, stress, and anxiety to the point where it may be difficult to sleep or get through your busy day. You don't have to live this way. It all starts with just 10 minutes of guided meditation a day, which is made possible with the Headspace app. Headspace is meditation made simple. You can listen to their guided meditations whenever or wherever you happen to be, right on your phone, your computer, or your tablet. The Headspace Take 10 program is a 100% free way to experience the benefits of meditation in your busy modern life. Meditation is rooted in thousands of years of tradition with thousands of scientific studies that show its positive effects, like improving your focus and relationship harmony and decreasing anxiety and stress. Check out the founder of Headspace, Andy Petticomb's TED Talk, which has had 5.5 million views to date. Andy leads all the meditations inside Headspace and really knows his stuff. After all, he was a monk for 10 years. Celebrities like Emma Watson, Jared Leto, Gwyneth Paltrow, those are just a few among the 5 million users finding peace through Headspace. Download the free Headspace app and begin their Take 10 program for 10 days of guided meditation at headspace.com/arena. Train your mind for a healthier, less stressed life. Start your free trial today at headspace.com/arena. That's headspace.com/arena. All right, up next, arguably the most popular color adjustment app for desktop PCs, Macs, and Linux machines is now on Android. Let's take a look. So how about this? I'm doing an episode on color adjustment apps for Android, and lo and behold, one of the big names in this space releases its app for Android. I love it when it works out like this. The app is called f.lux or f.lux. And for Android, there's currently a requirement of, you guessed it, root access. Also, keep in mind, the developer is referring to this as a preview, as in it's kind of like beta quality at the moment. So work in progress. There are some devices that are encountering issues with the app, so your mileage may vary. But here in f.lux, you get a pretty trim preferences page that allows you to tell the app what type of color adjustments should be made for 3 key parts of your day. There's daytime, sunset, and bedtime. Each time of day has a few different options for how tinted or bright the display will be. Set that sucker to Ember for bedtime. I highly recommend it, and you won't be blasted out of bed when you look at your phone in the dark room. Now, aside from setting what time you normally wake up, which is surely there to help f.lux time its daylight lighting settings, there's this dark room setting for late night viewing. It kind of resembles what we see in astronomer modes inside other apps. It turns everything a sharp, sharp red. And that's really all there is to it for now. Since it runs at root level, the quality of the dimming is better than the simple overlay approach that non-root apps of its type are employing. It's definitely worth checking out, but it's early. If you're rooted, you might want to try f.lux or f.lux for yourself in the Play Store now. So then, that was 4 different ways to save your eyes and improve your quality of sleep at night. At least I hope. I know I swear by these apps because there just really isn't a day that ends without me browsing Reddit on my phone before I shut my eyes at night. I can honestly say that apps like these make it easier for me to fall asleep in that transition after I'm done with my Reddit routine. Now, speaking of Reddit, you can submit your own ideas for awesome apps to our subreddit. We have one. It's androidapparena.reddit.com. But you can also email those to me if you're not big into Reddit. That's arena@twit.tv. I'm working on a People's Choice episode, as well as an episode focusing on the apps that you have created, so please keep them coming. The show plays live every Wednesday around 5 p.m. Pacific following Tech News Today at twit.tv/live, and the new episodes always appear later that evening in the feeds and on the show page at twit.tv/arena. All right, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jason Howell, and I'll see you next week in the arena.